dit is Kuns en Vermaak met Marianah Lourens. Yes, art and entertainment with Marianah Lourens. I am once again here in the green room underneath the stage at the little theatre in the Athenaeum. It's such a long beskrywing. And I've got someone exciting here with me. I don't always know what to call him, want hy's Boeta B and he's Kurt Terblanche. So hi Boeta B, hi Kurt, hi. Wat jy het my vir die tyd vertel, wat noem jou sussies jou?
Hulle sê my Boeta K.
Boeta K.
Ja, so as ek in die persoonlikheid is, dan is die verwysing Kurt en dan is die stem ook so. As hy verwys na Boeta B, dan verander die stem en die persoonlikheid kom ook uit. Ons kan miskien later vir Boeta B.
So jy kan maar net nou project into Boeta B.
Boeta B kan net sy voorskeiding maak.
Ja, maar welkom, very welcome here. I think we speak English for most of our listeners, can understand English, although our footprint in Afrikaans areas is huge.
Thank you so much for having me on the show.
It's such a pleasure.
Thank you to all the listeners who are tuned in to Bay FM 107.9. Good evening and welcome to everyone.
I'm sure they are feeling so welcome with you here. So tell me now, I saw you in the show Who's Fooling Who? And I just loved it from beginning to end. I laughed. I couldn't help myself. I was entertained. And what I like, and we can just quickly say that you can bring kids to your shows.
Yeah, so Who's Fooling Who was my solo show that I done last, and that was one of the, I started my solo career as a solo performer doing solo shows from 2016. It's been quite a few, and that was just one now. So I think I do about 3 solo performances a year, and like you mentioned, I say kids can even attend my shows. It's family friendly. I believe in keeping the entertainment for the entire family. You know, something that Barry Hilton said many years ago, he said, keep it clean and you'll stay on the scene.
So true.
Yeah, so that's what I do.
So my true, although later on he didn't always do that.
Yeah.
Maar ons sal hom vergewe, né? But what I want to also say is that you have been busy with all the stuff you did. You helped Westring High.
Yes, so one of the last performances was with Westring High School. It was a pleasure to perform with the youngsters, seeing the talent and how they grew over a period of time, with seeing the onset of where the production started, and eventually we ran 3 nights at Westring. And my duty was to tie the entire show together. So they did the performances, they had all the songs, they had marimbas and steel band, and they had dancers, and I wrote a script. Because I believe when you put something together, it must feel like a production. When you watch it, it must look like all this is joined together. So they had loose elements. Marimbas practice on their own, and steel band and the choir on their own and some solo acts. And my job was to come in and make sure that it feels like one story. That was titled African Dream. We told the story, and I believe that every performance must inspire you to something. I just don't want to do it for the sake of performing and making some money at the door. But if people cannot leave without a little bit of a message, then I failed. So we encourage the kids to dream. As Africans, when they left there, they had to feel that they can aspire to anything and dream to be great.
And you've also been involved in the festival that's recently happened.
We had the Gems Festival was earlier in the year. My duty was to perform for the elderly. So that's also part of my charity because, as a performer, you're also obligated to give back to the community. So generally, my charity leans itself towards the elderly because sometimes they're very forgotten, but they can also do with some entertainment. And because the genres of music I perform is generally the music like Elvis Presley's, then John Travolta, the likes of Frank Sinatra, and those is what the elderly can reminisce on.
Exactly.
And so I like to take them on a trip down memory lane, just thinking of the years yesteryear.
And we appreciate it. Because I just earlier on when I said I was on the Opera House stage in the 1970s, it was around about 1972, 73. You said you were born then.
I was born in 72 years.
And you see, so I'm a granny and we so well relate to that old music because it was really music. Musicians really did it with each their own instrument. Yeah. They didn't conjure up anything on a keyboard,
But I'm very passionate about that music. I most probably grew up listening to that music as a child, and it's timeless. Because it's timeless. Who doesn't get chills when you listen to My Way by Frank Sinatra?
Exactly.
So that type of songs.
Or even the country, Dolly Parton.
Yes.
The Kenny Rogers.
You can play those songs
anything,
today still.
Anybody that you can
will.
mention. Cliff Richard.
Yeah.
Elvis Presley and Pat Boone. I mean, they're opposites, but everybody loved their music. And the whole thing is that it was real music. Today, the kids think it's easy. They think it's easy to become famous like they did. And now everybody's rapping and they all sound the same.
I want to take nothing away from the artists today, but
No.
they have a lot
Some are
more.
brilliant.
They have a lot more to help them get further in life as opposed to the Elvis Presley. And there was no social media to get your name out there. You had to be brilliant and you had to make it onto radio for people to know about you, so it was difficult for them. And so I really take my hat off to those guys back then. Studios weren't as sophisticated as now.
Indeed. I mean, I can remember when we had 2 turntables, we played vinyls.
Yeah,
It was 2 or 3 turntables, you played vinyls.
So for me, a lot of those things are also foreign, but not for Boeta B. He comes from that era.
Boeta B knows everything.
He knows
nothing.
Yeah, so just for those maybe who do not know, my comedy does not just do comedy, but it incorporates music. So I do all my performances with song. So I tell the story with the songs, and I think it's something different, and I think that's why I have a very loyal following, and I'm grateful for the people of the metro and outside of town who appreciate what I do. So I spend quite a bit of time preparing my songs as opposed to comedy. Comedy is something that's a little bit more natural for me, even though I come from a very musical family, and singing is also something from the family. I don't necessarily always believe that was my strong point. So I spend a lot of time working on that part of my performance.
Yes, because the music, you have to get it right.
Yes. And you have to get the comedy right too, but
you can ad-lib your comedy then very much. And I also saw that I forget now the lady with the dark hair that you did a clip with on TV. I saw it in my brother's house. I can't remember now.
Yeah, it's an experience that I'm looking forward to. I've been doing the Eastern Cape a bit, but I've never, in Cape Town I've been, but I haven't performed in the Northern Cape. So for me, it's a first to go to places like Katu and Upington and those places. Richmond is the first place I'm going to stop at.
There's a place called Hot as Hell, as I say, and it's really hot as hell there. But I want to tell you, my first snow that I ever saw in South Africa was in Upington.
Is that so?
So
it gets very hot and very cold.
Well, it doesn't. Normally it was a freak time. It was in the 80s. And what actually happened was I was taking something out of my boot and I looked on my shoulder. I was wearing a navy coat and I thought, who's putting flour from somewhere? And I realized it was a little bit of snow, but it was soft snow. As it touches, it melts. But it was snowing. And in Upington, daai warm plek.
I've never experienced snow in South Africa. I had to go to Europe to experience it.
Yes, well, that's something else. I was in Buffalo, New York, 15 feet of snow over Christmas.
Yeah.
That's a different Christmas.
And talking about Christmas, I do an annual Christmas show since 2016.
Can we say watch the space?
Yeah, so it's already the 23rd of December. It's going to be the Christmas show because we have to book the venues in advance. So that's coming up. Must be there. Where
do you normally have your Christmas show?
We had it at various venues. This year it will be at the Savoy. Last year we did not do the Christmas show for the simple reason it was 10-year anniversary of the Boeta B character. Boeta B started in 2012 and it was the anniversary. I decided I would really like to do something that's timeless, and we filmed a movie over 8 months. On the 16th of December 2022, we released the movie premiere at the Boardwalk, the ICC. We had a huge turnout. It was a glamorous red carpet affair and for the 10-year anniversary. And so I skipped the Christmas show. So I did a bit of a Christmas show at the premiere.
Can we access that movie?
The movie was only at the premiere and now it's for film festivals, but we will release it.
Let us know.
Yeah, because it was not out to the public because the movie was earmarked to try and see if we can get it onto a TV channel. Okay. So if you release it to the public, then the TV channel will be interested
Okay, so you first still marketing.
Yes, so at film festivals where all the, people that has...
People see it, they see it at a film festival.
Yes.
Like Makanda, the National Arts Festival, then there's always a film festival as well.
Yeah, so the premiere was for those who wanted to see the movie the first time.
And I didn't know you then. I'm so sorry.
So actually we had very good reviews on the actual movie. I wrote the script, I directed the movie, and I played 3 characters in the movie. So my Geraldine character, Boeta B, they're the anchor characters in the movie, along with Francois Scholes, who plays another character that the movie is titled The B Team.
And sê vir Francois baie groete. We're skinnering about you, Francois. We were colleagues at Kingfisher FM many years ago. I think it's something like 17 years ago.
Yes, yeah, he has his background in radio. And then Tessin Bloemeyers made up the...
yes, I know Tessin.
Yeah, so the 4 characters made up the B Team. So the movie was titled The B Team, and it's a bit of a spin-off from the A Team that everyone know, Hannibal Smith and that. So the story is to motivate those who are not first team players or not recognized as first team players, and people sometimes underestimate your ability because you have maybe something that holds you back. Like for me, I have dyslexia, and for people with dyslexia, sometimes you would assume that someone cannot write a script because they jumble up the letters and so forth. So I spell terribly bad, but even with my dyslexia, I write stories, produce
That
stuff.
is interesting because I would never have detected it. Your texts are fine.
Yeah, because you have lots of aids that help you now to fix up your
automatic.
Yeah, to fix up everything. So spelling is really bad for me.
Correct.
I mean, when you use the software now, I can say a lot of the things and I type it for me. Obviously, Afrikaans, which is the preferred language that I do my work in.
They don't always know how to spell the Afrikaans.
But the movie was bilingual, so
that's also
English
great.
and Afrikaans. The movie was filmed by Foolproof Entertainment, and I'm sure you know Wani.
I know Wani.
Yeah, so that they filmed the movie. It was really put together well, and I am pleased with what we achieved at the end of the day. I wrote the soundtrack for the movie itself and recorded the song. That song would also be released very shortly as a single. It was just on the movie track, but now it will be released as a single very shortly.
We can't wait. So we can say watch this space as well. So will you put that on?
Yeah, that will be on the radio. Hopefully we can get it.
And you'll put it on social media as well.
Well, it will be
It'll first be launched on radio.
So the video...
You're making an album, are you?
There's a single. It's a single that's going to come out. A single track. It's called B Team Player, based on the movie B Team. It speaks about being an underdog. Sometimes people don't see that you can achieve, but you have to work extra hard if you're an underdog to be able to get to the top, but you can if you put in the extra effort.
You need to find your niche. But we are now getting to the end of our chat, but I want to know, you didn't wake up one morning and say, I want to be a stand-up comedian one day, because when you're 3 years old and you can start thinking about things, or 4 years old, that's not anything you can figure out for yourself. Where did this come from?
When I grew up, I actually wanted to be an estate agent.
An estate agent?
When I was small, I wanted to be an estate agent, but I was always singing, and I started performing at a young age on school plays and the church. The church actually gave me a platform to perform. So we would have Christmas.
And there's always singing in the choir.
Yes, I sang in a junior choir. Yes, and I did all these little Christmas plays. I was in all of that, and I think you cannot contain that if it's in you.
You know it.
Yeah. Even as a child, I pretended to be on radio. So I would record, we had a cassette deck, and I would record my radio program as a presenter. So I would do that as a child. But then we started performing, and myself and Andre McKay from Chapter 3, we performed, and he came up with the idea. He said, let's add on to the singing by doing a bit of comedy. And he created 2 characters that played off each other, Boeta B and Olali. They were friends, and we have a backstory. They come from South End, and we just had a bit of a family and so forth.
And Andre's Olali.
He's Olali. Then we did the first show in 2012, November 28th. On 2012, we did the first show called Waar Was Jy. We did old songs with this comical characters, and it took off so well. Everyone fell in love with the 2 characters. And 2013, we did it again, and in 2014, we carried on with it. And then we did radio for a few years. But the character Boeta B I just carried on.
Develops from
there.
there.
It developed from there. I had to give it a persona and write a bit more around it because who's his family? Does he have sisters?
Nou sê ons vir ons bietjie wie jou susters Boeta B word gou vir Boeta B want ons het nou nog omtrent 'n halwe minuut oor.
So Boeta B has a sister Elizabeth. His name is Benjamin Franklin George Bykes, and he has a brother called Isaac. So they all have biblical names: Benjamin, Elizabeth, and Isaac.
Hierdie Amerikaanse presidente kom ook te voorskyn.
Yeah, and he's originally from Southend, but he lives in Shorterville now. So this whole story is about him living in Shorter. His wife's
Maar vertel my van jouself, Boeta.
Okay, let's welcome Boeta B.
Ek het nou vir Kurt, ek sit die hele tyd hier met Kurt te gesels. Nou wil ek so met minuut of 2 met...
Ja, wat ek baie welkom met jou. Dankie dat ek ook hier is vanmiddag. En ek wil maar net dankie sê vir almal wat luister. My naam is Ben Bykes, maar almal sê maar vir my Boeta B. En ek bly in Shorter en I feel road, maar ek wil nie vir almal sê wat my adres is because ek like beter like visit. Ek wil nie altyd tee maak nie. En die my was is my vrou, en die knie is ook al dag lekker. En sy sal gelyk het om saam te kom. Maar die knie man, die beer lekker as jy doen en dan pyn die knie vreeslik. Ja, maar sy baie lieflike vrou, ja. Ek het ken baie lank al. Ja, sy het in Februarie groot geraak. Maar ek het in Southend groot geraak, so nee. Maar ja, ouma het in Southend gebly. En so, die wat ons mekaar ontmoet het, so. Ja, nee, daai jare toe die vrou het nog miniskirts. Kort miniskirts en die breinknieknoppe wat ek gesien het vanaf. Dis wat ek so voor lief gewees het, man. Want ek geweet met 'n vrou kan vloere was, dan kan jy agter my kyk.
Wonderlik. Ag, vreeslik dankie, Boeta B.
Ja, nee, ek kom nie te wees, man.
Goodie. Wat ook al dit, and it is so nice to chat to you. I think we can chat for 2 days about all the things and stuff we've done and been around. I mean, you're so much younger. You're my children's age. And some of my children are older than you. But what a lovely, lovely thing to look forward to your future shows, to your films, to everything you're still going to do. And they can find you where?
Firstly, thank you for having me here today. On social media, I can be found on I am Boeta B.
I am Boeta B.
That's my Facebook page, and there you'll see everything.
Everything will lead to.
Yeah, a lot of people always ask, why are you still on Facebook? But my audience are older, so the older audiences still do Facebook. I do cater obviously for younger audiences, but I know and understand who my market is. It's still older people.
And you know how marketing works? You can't cut out one little stream because that's just perhaps the stream that's going to lead you to something very exciting.
So and on Instagram.
Facebook is...
Yeah, Facebook works.
Facebook, Instagram.
Instagram, it's Kurt Terblanche.
Kurt Terblanche on Instagram.
On Instagram.
Okay.
That's where people can find me. And then email is info@boetaB.co.za.
info@boetaB.co.za. So dit is so maklik. Is alles net Boeta B. As jy net Boeta B tik, dan kry jy
you'll find if you type Boeta B on YouTube, it's a pop-up.
Yeah, but even on Facebook, it'll come up.
Yeah.
What did you say it was on Facebook?
I am Boeta B.
I am.
But even if you just type Boeta B, you'll find it,
I am sal te voorskyn kom. Vreeslik dankie. Ons tyd is nou werklik op. So 10 minute gelede het my Tekkie my gesê ons het 5 minute oor. Thank you. It's been a real pleasure, and I'm really looking forward to you coming with Andre and the other 2 guys.
Yes, chapter 3.
Yes, chapter 3. When the time is right, we'll all get together.
Thank you.
Blessings. Mooi loop, Boeta B. And it is time for me, Marianah Lourens, to say goodbye with art and entertainment. Ja, Marianah Lourens, wat nou groet met kuns en vermaak. Arrivari!